Welcome to the Transitions Daily podcast. Transitions Daily is an online recovery group that offers a daily distribution of popular recovery resources accompanied by a secret Facebook group for discussion. We hope you enjoy today's readings.
This is Transitions Daily for March 16th, read by Kurt L. from Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA. AA thoughts for the day: honesty. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program, usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 58. Thought to consider: half measures availed us nothing. Acronyms: HOW, honest, open-minded, and willing. Just for today: greater strength from letting go of old ideas. It is now well established that willpower all by itself is about as effective a cure for alcohol addiction as it is for cancer. Most of us tried going it alone, hoping either to control our drinking or to stop, and we had no lasting success in either endeavor. But we finally asked ourselves, wouldn't it be more intelligent to seek out and tap a strength greater than our own than to persist in our futile solo efforts? Living Sober, page 73. Daily Reflections, as we understand Him. My friends suggested that then seemed a novel idea. Why don't you choose your own conception of God? That statement hit me hard. It melted the icy intellectual mountain in whose shadow I had lived and shivered many years. I stood in the sunlight at last. It was only a matter of being willing to believe in a power greater than myself. Nothing more was required of me to make my beginning. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 12. I remember the times I looked up into the sky and reflected on who started it all and how. When I came to AA, an understanding of some description of the spiritual dimension became a necessary adjunct to a stable sobriety. After reading a variety of versions, including the scientific of a great explosion, I went for simplicity and made the God of my understanding the great power that made the explosion possible. With the vastness of the universe under His command, He would, no doubt, be able to guide my thinking and actions if I was prepared to accept His guidance. But I could not expect help if I turned my back on that help and went my own way. I became willing to believe, and I have had 26 years of stable and satisfying sobriety. As Bill sees it: losing financial fears. When a job still looked like a mere means of getting money rather than an opportunity for service, when the acquisition of money for financial independence looked more important than a right dependence upon God, we were the victims of unreasonable fears. And these were fears which would make a serene and useful existence at any financial level quite impossible. But as time passed, we found that with the help of AA's 12 steps, we could lose those fears, no matter what our material prospects were. We could cheerfully perform humble labor without worrying about tomorrow. If our circumstances happened to be good, we no longer dreaded a change for the worse, for we had learned that these troubles could be turned into great values for ourselves and for others. 12 and 12, page 121, 122. Big Book quote. At a certain point in the drinking of every alcoholic, he passes into a state where the most powerful desire to stop drinking is of absolutely no avail. This tragic situation has already arrived in practically every case long before it is suspected. Alcoholics Anonymous, There is a Solution, page 24. 24 hours a day. AA thought for the day. Before we decide to quit drinking, most of us have to come up against a blank wall. We see that we're licked, that we have to quit, but we don't know which way to turn for help. There seems to be no door in that blank wall. AA opens the door that leads to sobriety by encouraging us to honestly admit that we're alcoholics and to realize that we can't take even one drink, and by showing us which way to turn for help. AA opens the door in that blank wall. Have I gone through the door to sobriety? Meditation for the day. I must have a singleness of purpose to do my part in God's work. I must not let material distractions interfere with my job of improving personal relationships. It is easy to become distracted by material affairs, so that I lose my singleness of purpose. I do not have time to be concerned about the multifarious concerns of the world. I must concentrate and specialize on what I can do best. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not become distracted by material affairs. I pray that I may concentrate on doing what I can do best. Hazelton Foundation, P.O. Box 176, Center City, Minnesota, 55012. My name is Kurt L., and I'm an alcoholic.
We hope you enjoyed today's readings. You can also receive Transitions Daily via email and discuss today's readings in our secret Facebook group. So for more information, go to dailyaaemails.com today.
Other than the 24 hours a day reading, unless otherwise specified, all quotes copyright Alcoholics Anonymous World Services, Inc., 1952, 1957, 1967, 1973, 1975, 1976, 1980, 1981, 1984, 1985, 1988, 1990, or 2001.